Alright, we're live. Hi everyone. Welcome. We are Patapsco Heritage Greenway. My name is Hannah Zinnert. I'm the program manager. And behind me, more than 6 feet behind me, is DJ Shekelha. He is our program coordinator. And we are out here to talk about invasive plants of the Patapsco. We recently held a webinar about how to identify them and how to remove them in your own backyard. So we decided to come out and at least look for a handful of them and see how we could remove them and show you in person. So just a reminder, this isn't all the invasives that you'll find in your own backyard. There's plenty more, unfortunately. But we did find a few here today, so we're going to get started. Let me switch this around. All right. So DJ is our wonderful model. He's going to show us all the actions we need to take to remove invasives. And first up, we have Japanese barberry. So it is pretty beautiful. And that's what invasives do. They like to be pretty so that you want them around, you plant them, and then they spread a lot. So first things first, DJ is going to grab his clippers. To keep in mind about barberry is that it has a lot of thorns. So he's over here and he has his gloves to help protect his hands from the thorns, which is a good move. He's gonna go in and clip off as much of the top as he can to access that main stem, just like that. There you go, good work. Now when you're at home, you might just have clippers and a shovel, which is totally fine. So once you're able to access that main stem going down into the soil, you're going to want to dig out the main stem, including the roots that are going into the soil. So we're going to watch DJ as he does this. It's really, really important that you get the root system, or it's just going to keep growing back above ground every year. And the tricky thing about invasives is that a lot of time you're going to have to tackle them each year until you use up all the resources of the plant and it officially dies off. So another really cool thing that we have, and you are able to buy it and purchase it and have it at your own home, and we have it here at PHG, is a pull bearer. It is pretty awesome. It makes our life a whole lot easier because it grabs that main stem, or if there's a few stems, thick stems that you need to get out of there. It does a great job of getting the root system out as you pull, because these bad boys can be pretty tough. And we know it's a bit of a workout to get Japanese barberry out of the ground. So I know most of you might not have this at home, but it is a great investment. You can order it online. So we were really excited to be able to do that. One thing to remember about Japanese barberry is that it does potentially harbor Lyme disease because of the thorns and the way that it grows. A lot of rodents like to stay there. They're protected under the barberry. So please, please, please check for ticks after you get it out. And ta-da! The fruits of our labor. Good job, DJ. And he got all the root system out. Nice job. Awesome. All right, so that's Japanese barberry. Next up, we're gonna move on down the hill a little bit. And here we have invasive garlic mustard. So, the sun is shining nice and bright for us. You can see the garlic mustard has these flat leaves, the seed pods, it's gone to flower. So garlic mustard is a biennial plant. The first year it'll grow as lower down, flat kidney shape, and then here it is right here. So it does stay low to the ground. And then in the second growing season, it is gonna grow vertical. It's gonna have those seed pods and those white flowers. It is important to know that once it goes to flower and the seed pods formed, you must bag it and trash it so that the seeds aren't spread. Unfortunately, it can't go into a compost pile at that point because the seeds will spread easily even after it's pulled out of the ground. So DJ's gonna show you how it's done. I always like to say that garlic mustard is the easiest invasive to pull. You just wanna grab your hand as close as you can to the base and very gently pull it up so that you can get the root system. A lot of time the roots are shallow. They kind of form an S or an L into the soil. So it's really not strenuous, it's not labor intensive, but you just want to make sure you go as close to the base as possible and pulling the plant out of the ground. Nice job, DJ. And there he goes, bagging it, making sure none of those seeds spread. Awesome. All right, and next up, we're gonna move a little bit further down the hill. Bear with me as we travel. Our final invasive is the Oriental bittersweet vine. You can see here, it's this twisted tan vine going all up and down this tree. You can even see where a prior vine was. It's indented into the bark, so it goes all the way up. It's kind of hard to tell with the sunlight, but it starts to grow its leaves at the top and take advantage of the resources before the tree can. It really can suffocate a tree. It can compromise the integrity of the structure of the tree, so in a storm or high wind, it may not be as strong to stay upright. So we like to tackle vines, usually by cutting at waist height. You want to cut about, I would say, a few inches to half a foot of the vine off, being very careful not to actually cut the bark of the tree. We want to make sure we don't have any wounds to the tree that can allow disease to come in. There we go. And we like to just use a handsaw. You can use clippers if that's all you have. It just might be a little bit more tough. But a handsaw does a great job. So you'll see there, DJ pulled off, looks like about a foot. That's some nice work there. And then what we want to do is let that die off. Just because if you pull that right now, think about it. You're pulling all of that tightly wound vine. It could potentially rip a branch off. It could hurt the tree. It could hurt you if you're underneath. So we really want to make sure that we let that die off before we try and remove the vine. A lot of vines will just fall off on their own. If you do want to safely go back later on to try to remove the dead vine, that's okay as well. Just make sure it's dead. We do want to acknowledge that originally we came out here looking for English ivy. It's a pretty popular invasive in the Patapsco area. We couldn't find it here, which is actually really exciting because we don't want it here, but we were surprised. So we like to tell people that you can use the same sort of technique with English ivy. You just want to cut those few inches to a half a foot off at waist height, let it die off over the winter, making sure that you're not pulling it down and hurting yourself or the tree. And if you want, you can also kind of pull the ivy off at the base of the tree for a few feet, because it is, you know, ground ivy that makes its way up. So that's an option as well, even when the ivy is alive. But other than that, that's really how you want to get the ivy off these poor little trees that are being suffocated. So at this point, those are most of the invasives we were able to find in this area. You just want to keep in mind that these are not all the invasives in the Patapsco watershed. There's a lot more. And so if you have questions about identification or removal, we can definitely help you with that. You can go to www.patapsco.org to read our blogs, watch our recorded webinars, or you can shoot us an email at info@patapsco.org and we can get back to you about that. Something else to keep in mind during this time of social distancing, please make sure you're only doing this in your backyard with your immediate family or roommates. If you are going on other property, please make sure you have permission to be there. And if you are going elsewhere from your house, make sure you're wearing your proper PPE, as DJ has right here. He has his mask and his gloves, and we're doing great in making sure we're staying safe and distant and healthy during all of this. So we really miss everyone. We miss having our group events, but we're excited to hopefully get back to that eventually when things clear up. So we appreciate you tuning in virtually and still staying connected with us. But yeah, we hope everyone has a great day. And thank you.